During day one of Sean Combs' criminal trial, we heard some celebrity names come up. Among those names are actors Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, two members of the girl group Danity Kane, that's Aubrey O'Day and Dawn Richard. You also heard the name of musician Kanye West and one of Combs' sons, Christian Combs, as well as his former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are.
So there are a lot of conspiracy theories around Diddy and his celebrity friends floating around the internet. I went through every single legal filing and looked at what celebrities are actually named.
I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I
tape.
can't explain who the person was, but
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
What do you think will happen if the FBI starts hunting down all Diddy's alleged besties and writing them down in a list? Well, the streets are saying that more celebrities are packing their bags and running away as far as they can from Diddy. And now even the FBI is allegedly getting involved with a literal list of celebrities who have suddenly gone radio silent, dipped out of the country, or pulled some suspicious Houdini-level vanishing acts right after one of the most disturbing scandals in celebrity history, Diddy's freak-off party expose. And let me tell you, you'll be shocked who made the cut. Let's start with the obvious elephant in the room, Kevin Hart. 1 week before Diddy's arrest, Kevin randomly announced he was shutting down not one, not two, but 4 locations of his vegan restaurant chain, Hart House. These restaurants weren't failing. They were popular, trendy, and had solid reviews. So why shut them down? The CEO gave a fluffy PR statement about community appreciation and transitions, but fans weren't buying it. And yes, it seems like even the feds are raising their eyebrows. You see, Kevin's connection to Diddy goes way back. He once streamed a Diddy party live in 2010 and even joked on camera about Diddy warning him not to sit on certain parts of the furniture.
I think they never been to a Diddy party. If you're not dancing,
I just got hard.
then you got to go. So security, if you see somebody and they not dancing, they got to go.
I heard what Dawn said.
Period, point blank.
Oh, and let's not forget the jacuzzi incident, where someone's hair literally caught on fire at one of those wild gatherings. Kevin laughed it off at the time like it was just another Hollywood oopsie, but fans were already side-eyeing the chaos. Then years later, when a reporter casually asked him if he ever caught any baby oil flying at one of those Diddy parties, Kevin froze. Like full buffering mode. He looked like he saw the ghost of his career float past him, and then he hit the emergency eject button with the line, "Wrong question. Wrong person."
Hey, Kevin, when you hosted for Diddy, did you catch any baby oil?
When I hosted for Diddy,
Yeah. Nah?
you asking the wrong person the wrong question. What's your question?
And that was it. Shut it down. He wanted nothing to do with it. It was giving, I know something, but I can't say it without ending up in a bunker in the Alps. Of course, he did not say that, but you get the point, right? That weird mix of guilt, fear, and silence had people speculating hard, especially when Kevin suddenly started liquidating assets and closing restaurant locations just as Diddy's name started showing up in federal reports. But here's where it gets real messy. In the days leading up to and right after Diddy's high-profile arrest, the internet exploded with videos from dozens of different social media accounts. And guess who kept showing up in the background center frame or sometimes just vibing in the shadows? Yep, Kevin Hart. Now this ain't just some random coincidence, especially now with all the allegations against Diddy. Some of the videos were grainy, others were crisp HD, but all had one thing in common. Kevin was there, laughing, dancing, chilling, or low-key looking like he was trying not to be seen. Now, to be absolutely clear, none of the clips so far show Kevin doing anything illegal. Let's say that again. No illegal behavior from Kevin has been caught on tape, but the vibes, immaculately questionable.
Come here, don't sit on the bed at night, no homo, no, just don't get close to the bed, don't get close, but it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man, it's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it and you did it.
No, I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not, I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all.
One clip, posted by user at Celebrity D on X, blew up overnight. In the video, Diddy is lounging with Kevin Hart and Usher in what looks like a swanky penthouse suite. Kevin's face in that moment is priceless. Equal parts WTF and I should not be here. Usher tries to smile through it, but even he looks like he wants to evaporate. Of course, we can't forget about the other part where another big name appeared with Kevin and Diddy. I am talking about Usher. Like the guy had been entangled in this mess since the very beginning, and now that more tapes are getting exposed, it's no surprise if the feds also add him to the list. For instance, in the same clip, Usher was seen arriving, and of course, Kevin and Diddy did not let him even catch his breath before they drag him into the conversation. Now, if you have been following the trial, you'll know that Diddy allegedly likes to come up with a specific setup for his freak-off parties, and let's just say that this very video with Kevin is giving that vibe. And then, one woman's hair catches fire. There's a brief moment of panic, but you can hear Kevin off-camera laughing. Not maliciously, more like that, I don't know what else to do laugh. Still, it wasn't a good look.
Fresh off the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like that's how. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the frosted flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the frosted flakes.
The internet ran with it. Some said it was innocent fun. Others said it was further proof of the reckless chaos behind closed doors at Diddy's infamous parties. And just when people thought Kevin was gonna crawl under a rock and pray the heat dies down, he did the opposite. He roasted Diddy at the 2025 BET Awards. Live. On stage. In front of everyone. During his opening monologue, Kevin came out swinging. He wasn't just doing soft jabs, he was throwing haymakers. After a joke about shutting down after parties, he locked eyes with the crowd and said, "That's where shit gets slippery, at them goddamn after parties. We're learning a lot about people, ain't we?"
I'm shutting down the idea of after parties. No after parties tonight, okay? None. Take your home after this. That's why I did it on a Monday. People got to go to work tomorrow. No after parties. That's get slippery at the after parties. Okay? We're learning a lot about people, ain't we? No yachts, no boats, Cardi B, no pink stuff. None of that stuff.
The audience went nuts. Cameras even caught some celebs doing that nervous laugh while looking around like, is it safe to laugh at that? He didn't just stop at Diddy either. He dragged Kanye. He side-eyed Cardi. But the Diddy line hit hardest because, let's be real, he knows. He's been there. Multiple times. And now he's using his comedy as a deflector shield, trying to stay ahead of whatever might be coming next. Because of this, people are wondering if Kevin will be called in court. I mean, it's not that impossible, especially since a lot of people believe he is part of this Diddy mess. However, there are also others who think he might also be a victim. We've seen this pattern before, celebrities laughing it off on stage before things get real dark. Maybe Kevin's trying to play both sides, acting like he's in the know while subtly distancing himself. But when videos, eyewitness stories, and old live streams keep popping up, that's not a coincidence. That's a ticking time bomb. And if the FBI really is connecting the dots with who was where, when, and how often, Kevin might want to keep that passport handy. Then there's Leonardo DiCaprio, who didn't just dip from the scene, he took off to Italy like he was starring in an actual reboot of Catch Me If You Can. Paparazzi caught him casually strolling through Rome with his girlfriend, model Vittoria Ceretti, both dressed head to toe in all white like they were cosplaying as innocence itself. The photos were almost too perfect, matching outfits, sunglasses, not a care in the world. But as soon as those photos dropped, the internet wasn't buying it. Why? Because Leo's name has come up way too many times when it comes to Diddy's notorious white parties. And these weren't just your average champagne and celeb selfies kind of events. No, these parties, held in the Hamptons and Beverly Hills between 1998 and 2009, were full-blown, ultra-exclusive, invite-only spectacles. The all-white dress code was more than fashion. It was code. A signal. You were in the circle. And Diddy made it very clear who was always in that circle. In a 2018 interview with Vogue during a flashy tour of his home, Diddy was asked directly, "Who's the person that's number 1 on your invitation list?" Without skipping a beat, he said, "Leonardo DiCaprio." No hesitation, just name drop, mic drop. And if you think that was just for show, think again. A 1998 photo, resurfaced and published by the Daily Mail, shows a young Leo at one of those infamous white parties during the peak of his early stardom, long before the environmental speeches and yacht getaways. And he fit right in, surrounded by models, moguls, and moguls' girlfriends, holding a drink in one hand and keeping one eye on the camera like he already knew this footage might come back to haunt him. People aren't accusing Leo of any crimes. Let's get that straight. But they are questioning the timing of his exit. The minute Diddy's homes were raided and reports started circulating about federal investigations into the nature of those parties, Leo suddenly found himself on vacation thousands of miles away. Not in Malibu, not in New York, Italy. And this isn't just a quick getaway either. Leo's been spotted everywhere from Tuscan villas to Roman cafes, like he's actively trying to blend in with the architecture. Fans online have called it strategic retreat energy. Others straight up joke that he's the first one playing chess while everyone else is stuck in Diddy's checkers game. And it doesn't help that Leo has always maintained a certain mystique about his private life. He rarely posts on social media, doesn't do messy interviews, and keeps a tight circle of longtime bros who also seem to know when to vanish. So now, with old party photos, a resurfaced Diddy interview naming him as the "no one invitee," and the suspicious European escape all lining up. Yeah, people are talking. Maybe Leo's just on vacation. Maybe he's running from nothing. But with the way this Diddy story is unraveling, even a little proximity to that chaos has the internet side-eyeing everybody. And Leo? He might be playing it cool, but everyone's watching to see if he shows up stateside or keeps hiding in the Coliseum. Next, Howard Stern. Howard Stern once went to a Diddy party and couldn't even get past the velvet rope, let alone inside the mansion. Now, he had been mentioning multiple times how badly he wants to be invited in a Diddy party. Not because he wanted to be there, but mainly because he wants to see what's happening inside. Well, let's just say it's not an easy task to do. But despite the invite, Howard was not able to really get inside, like, where the good stuff happens. However, people still believe that he knows something that might get him in the FBI list. According to Howard, not only was he kept out of the main event, but he and his girlfriend were essentially corralled into the backyard area with what he referred to as the schlubs, aka the regular people who didn't make the A-list cut. Despite being a major name in entertainment at the time, Stern said he was treated like an asshole and even denied access to the bathroom. Yes, the bathroom. The man couldn't even take a leak without being met with resistance. In classic Howard fashion, he tried to keep the tone light, joking about the women in bathing suits running around by the pool. But behind the laughter, there was a note of unease. It was kind of cool because there were girls in bathing suits running around by the pool, he said during his retelling, but then quickly added that Diddy was nowhere to be found. In his own words, Diddy was likely inside at what he sarcastically dubbed the cool party, the real event behind closed doors, which was completely off limits to Stern and his +1. He left early, uncomfortable, and totally disillusioned. The incident might have ended there, but it didn't.
To his party, which was last night.
Personal phone.
Yeah. I said, when is this party? If it's at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I can go.
That's right.
You know what I mean? But it's at 10.
Probably not.
The party starts at 10 o'clock at night. But this guy is, I wish I could go to one of these P. Diddy parties. I would go. Yeah. You went, right?
I went to one with David Spade.
And how was that?
They took us up to this VIP room in the Limelight, New York. And it was just me, David Spade, and that assistant who attacked him.
Yeah.
And Elton John was the only other celebrity in the whole room.
Right.
There were these two gay guys that I guess Puff Daddy bought for Elton John just to dance around.
Yeah.
Like go-go dance.
Wow.
Really?
And Spade went over to say hi to Elton John. And it was funny because it looked like one of the dancers was for Spade and one was for Elton John.
Yeah. Spade getting on with the guy?
Weird, huh?
I don't know. It looked like something was going on.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anyway, so I am honored to have you guys.
Years later, Stern would bring it up again during an interview with Usher, pressing him about his time living with Diddy as a teenager. Usher famously moved into Diddy's home as a young up-and-comer in the industry, a fact that's now raising more than a few eyebrows in light of Diddy's ongoing criminal investigations involving alleged racketeering, trafficking, and the drugging and coercion of victims at secretive parties. While Howard didn't directly accuse Diddy of any misconduct during that interview, The way he grilled Usher was telling. He asked what really went on during those years, and when Usher laughed it off, clearly dodging the question, Howard's smirk said more than words ever could. The implication was there, hanging in the air like a fog nobody wanted to acknowledge. Hollywood insiders knew things they weren't saying. What makes Howard's story even more compelling now is how it fits into a much larger, increasingly murky picture. At the time, his retelling sounded like a weird, awkward night for a media personality out of place at a hip-hop mogul's bash. But with recent lawsuits and federal raids turning Diddy's past parties into the stuff of true crime documentaries, Stern's recollection has taken on new weight. That idea of there being two parties, one for the public and one behind closed doors, suddenly doesn't sound like a quirky observation. It sounds like a red flag. More guests have since come forward with stories about being restricted from certain areas of Diddy's homes during parties, and there are now widespread allegations of hidden rooms, cameras, and manipulated guests. Stern's story might be tame compared to the disturbing accusations others have leveled against Diddy, but the consistent theme is chilling. Those who weren't part of the inner circle were deliberately kept out, not just out of the house, but out of the truth. Stern's experience in hindsight feels less like a snub and more like an intentional separation. While he might have felt insulted at the time for being treated like an outsider, it now looks like a blessing in disguise, because everyone who wasn't allowed behind those doors might have been spared from something far darker. And when someone like Howard Stern, a man who's seen and heard it all, leaves a party early because the vibes are off, that says a lot more than anyone might have realized at the time. Now, this is where things go from weird to absolutely terrifying. Diddy's legal problems aren't just about wild parties. The lawyers repping victims have confirmed there are now more than 120 people accusing him of abuse, 60 women and 60 men across 25 states. Some were allegedly as young as 9 years old. That's not just disturbing, it's horrifying. According to one insider, there are tapes, actual video evidence, and there was even an alleged attempt to shop one of the tapes before the authorities got involved. Whatever's on that footage was supposedly career-ending, which might explain why so many big names are suddenly pulling disappearing acts. Let's not forget that Jennifer Lopez, yes, that J-Lo, was arrested with Diddy back in 1999 after a nightclub shooting. She only spent 14 hours in jail before being released and claimed Diddy was innocent. But one of the victims never changed her story. She said Diddy shot her. Meanwhile, rapper Shine ended up doing 9 years behind bars for that same incident. In a recent interview that's now making waves all over social media, former bad boy rapper and current Belizean politician Shine didn't mince words when it came to Diddy. He straight up accused the music mogul of setting him up, flipping witnesses, and walking away clean while Shine took the fall and spent nearly a decade behind bars. And now that the federal spotlight is turning back on Diddy with explosive new allegations, ranging from sex trafficking to racketeering, the hip-hop community is re-examining the early 2000s nightclub shooting with a brand new perspective. One that casts Diddy not as a lucky survivor of a scandal, but as someone who may have built a career on using others as human shields. To rewind, the infamous shooting took place at Club New York in Manhattan in 1999. Diddy, Shine, and Diddy's then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez were all in attendance. At some point during the night, a confrontation broke out and shots were fired, leaving 3 people injured. The chaos that followed made headlines around the world. J-Lo and Diddy were arrested, and the press had a field day with the image of America's sweetheart being hauled in with a hip-hop mogul and his protege in a criminal case. But as the dust settled, the outcomes for each party couldn't have been more different. Shine, who was just 21 years old at the time, was hit with a 10-year sentence after being convicted of first-degree assault, reckless endangerment, and criminal possession of a weapon. He served almost 9 years before being released and deported to his home country of Belize. Diddy, on the other hand, walked free after being acquitted on charges of gun possession and bribery. Accusations that stemmed from claims he tried to get his driver to take the fall for the firearm found at the scene. J-Lo? She distanced herself immediately and was never charged, with prosecutors deciding there was insufficient evidence to tie her to the weapon or the shooting. She fled the club alongside Diddy and his security detail, but her name vanished from the legal conversation almost instantly. Now, in the wake of multiple lawsuits and a full-blown federal investigation into Diddy's alleged criminal enterprises, Shine's story is being heard in a whole new light. He told Anscape in a documentary preview that he was absolutely set up to be the fall guy, suggesting Diddy manipulated the narrative to pin the blame on him. He implied that witnesses were pressured, stories were changed, and in the end, the star walked free while the young up-and-comer's life was derailed. What's also raising eyebrows is Jennifer Lopez's complete silence amid this renewed scrutiny. For someone who built her brand on being relatable and transparent, especially with her recent memoir and documentary appearances, her refusal to address her proximity to Diddy during one of the darkest moments of his life is deafening. Fans are now questioning how much J.Lo knew and whether she, like others close to Diddy, is choosing silence over accountability. Was she simply an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire of a chaotic night? Or has she strategically distanced herself from a man who's now being painted as the mastermind behind multiple decades of criminal behavior? There's also a question of timing. Jennifer Lopez has stayed out of the press lately, even amid her own headline-generating issues like the rumored breakup with Ben Affleck and the cancellation of her This Is Me Now tour. Some speculate that her silence on Diddy might be strategic, a calculated move to avoid being dragged into a media firestorm she narrowly escaped 2 decades ago. But the public is watching closely now, with lawsuits piling up against Diddy and whispers growing louder about who might get subpoenaed next. J.Lo's name might not stay in the shadows for long. Shine appears to be seeking vindication. He's no longer just the fall guy or the cautionary tale of hip-hop's darker side. He's a living reminder that power, money, and celebrity often tilt the scales of justice, and that some truths don't stay buried forever. As more names from Diddy's past start coming up, the question remains: who's going to speak out next? And who's still hiding behind a carefully crafted PR wall, hoping this storm passes them by unnoticed? Then there's Jay-Z, longtime friend of Diddy. They've been photographed together dozens of times over the years, shared business ventures, and even honored DJ Khaled together at the Rock Nation brunch in 2022. But now, Jay-Z has gone full ghost mode. No statements, no appearances, nothing. 50 Cent, being the king of trolling, posted a photo of Jay-Z on a milk carton with the caption, "Anybody seen Jay?" LOL. It was funny, but it hit a little too close to home. If Jay-Z, who's known for being calculating and controlled, doesn't want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, that says a lot. Kesha, on the other hand, made her feelings loud and clear. Remember her hit song TikTok? The original version opened with "Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy." Well, at a recent concert, Kesha changed the line to "Fa P. Diddy." The crowd erupted and the internet caught fire. It was one of the only times a mainstream celebrity publicly denounced Diddy since all the allegations began pouring out. Everyone else? Dead silent. Other big names have been moving funny too. Justin Bieber suddenly canceled multiple tour dates around the same time the Diddy raid happened. Drake, who's been linked to the same circles, has gone quiet as well. Kanye West, once a close collaborator with Diddy, has been spotted hiding out in Europe. Chris Brown, who thanked Diddy in his album credits, has completely disappeared from social media. One by one, these celebrities are either pulling back from the public eye or distancing themselves in ways that feel a little too convenient. People who've been to Diddy's parties describe them like something out of a nightmare. You don't just walk in. You need a specific invitation to even get to the first level. Then, if you're deemed worthy, you're guided to a hidden door behind a bookcase. Yes, like some Scooby-Doo mansion nonsense that leads to the real party. One former drug dealer said he was invited, and when Diddy opened the door, he was completely naked. Inside, celebs, big ones, doing things that you definitely can't talk about on YouTube without this video getting demonetized in 5 seconds flat. At this point, the allegations are so widespread and the silence so loud that even casual fans are starting to connect the dots. The FBI's list of celebs who fled might not be public yet, but fans are already speculating who's on it. There are too many sudden trips, too many deleted posts, and too many PR teams working overtime for this to be coincidence. When your favorite actor, rapper, or influencer goes from posting 3 times a day to suddenly living in an undisclosed location, it's hard not to raise an eyebrow. This could very well be bigger than Epstein, bigger than Weinstein. Diddy's empire wasn't just about music. It spanned fashion, alcohol, TV, philanthropy, and most importantly, access. And if those tapes actually exist, if the hidden cameras at those parties really captured the faces that sources are whispering about, then buckle up, because Hollywood is about to burn. So what do you think? Are these celebrities just traveling, or are they fleeing? Is this one big coincidence, or are we witnessing the biggest celebrity scandal takedown of our generation? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, smash that like button, subscribe for more chaos, and turn on notifications. Because if the rumors are true, next week we might be talking about who the FBI arrests next. Stay safe and maybe skip that next Hollywood party invite, just in case.